Hello and good morning to everyone. Apa khabar? We are here today. FPL Jedi Show, Gameweek 15 deadline stream. We are excited for this week, the penultimate fixture before the World Cup break. My name is Hafiz and would like to welcome Azmin to the show. How are you?
Morning. Good to go. Can't wait for the kickoff. 7 o'clock is our deadline today.
All right. It's an important week, especially we really want to know the team news regards to Man City players, especially on Haaland. I think we're going to touch that. We also want to see the lineup or team news, the likes of the popular assets like Arsenal. Okay, what happened in Europa League? Definitely want to look at Newcastle assets because that's the popular traffic right now. So I think let's jump straight first, to the game week 15 fixture, where the kickoff will be at 11 p.m. This is, I think, the late deadline. Okay, from the previous week, usually we have like 6 p.m., but this week we're gonna have like 9 p.m. So the fixture for tonight will be Leeds United versus Bournemouth, Man City versus Fulham, Nottingham Forest versus Brentford, and then Wolves will welcome Brighton to their turf. So that all matches will play at 11 p.m. Malaysian time, and then at 1:30 a.m. we will have Everton versus Leicester. On Sunday night at 8 p.m. Yes, the big one, Chelsea versus Arsenal, the London derby. Arteta will come to Stamford Bridge and face Graham Potter team. And at 10 p.m. we have Aston Villa. As we know, Unai Emery has actually attended his first press conference ahead of Manchester United fixture. And then we have Southampton versus Newcastle, and then West Ham will welcome Crystal Palace to their turf. And then last but not least, on Gaming 16 fixture, we close with another big match, which is Spurs versus Liverpool. So I think we jump straight to the team news, man.
Yep.
Which
So
which which else we want to start at Man City camp? Definitely. What has been Pep Guardiola been saying?
okay, once again, Pep saying, we will decide today. Much better. It's a good step. Start to training. Now we are training this afternoon, and you will see. So the question is, what sort of rubbish training was he talking about last week when he said he's training, and then we'll assess, and then we'll see. So it's almost the same what he said. Start, and then he's saying start to training. What was he doing before? I'm very, yeah, it's very annoying with this, but that's how we have to deal with Pep. When his most prized asset is doubts, then you can see that he's being a bit mysterious, trying not to tell everything. But aside from that, it's still just Walker out and Calvin Phillips. Everyone else is same old. Now the issue is, of course, um, how City are going to line up. So right now the predicted lineup, that one has, I think the latest scout lineup does predict Haaland to start now based on the recent information.
Okay.
So it's just a question. The only other issue is that Foden playing 90 minutes in midweek, and he was quite dismissive because one reporter who presumably has Foden in his team asked directly. We saw Foden, he didn't start in Premier League. He started in the Champions League, and then of course Pep replies with his, "No, we have to start all players." And and everyone's good, give everyone time. So yeah, basically he didn't answer the question, leaving us Foden holders still in the doubt. Okay,
Yep.
so but because when you contrast it, Bernardo Silva, KDB, who else? Cancelo, Rodrigo, all didn't play in midweek. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's going to be a question now, and we'll all look forward to another chaotic um, deadline.
Like the line.
So on the Fulham side, no real changes uh, in terms of the attack. Um, so one thing about this one is that if you saw, because there was press conference with Marco Silva is saying that they wanna they can't just sit back, so they're going to attack. So theoretically, that could make for a very open game with Manchester City, which means that Manchester City assets may be something you want to go for. Yeah, it also means that Fulham aren't going to park the bus, which I guess is good for City, theoretically.
Yep. As we can see here, Pep Guardiola being weak as last week, but at least we know the striker or Haaland are in much better
Yep.
situation. We did saw some picture in training regards to Haaland and everyone. Okay, so the predicted lineup here says Alvarez to start, but the refresh one says Haaland to start this game. That's the predicted lineup. Same goes for Foden, who actually a lot of managers still having him, and it's a concern because he played 90 minutes during Midweek Champions League. But I think this another late scrambling deadline. I think people will
Mm,
search for news if let's say we can have team
yeah.
news leak before the deadline, because this is the early match played for this week.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I mean, I just want to reference one. I think there was a Rakan FPL YouTube video mentioning how annoying it is with Foden. So it's just going to be more annoying. We'll watch at the deadline.
Yep. If we got team news, I don't know. If let's say we saw Foden is not in the lineup, especially me. I don't know about you, man. We might want to do something, but I'm not too sure.
Don't know
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
Let's go to the next match, man, which is Leeds versus Bournemouth. Okay, what has been JC Marsh and O'Neill been mentioning?
Right. So Leeds fresh out of a surprise win against Liverpool, but unfortunately they've now lost Sinestra. But yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't matter because Rodrigo is in back in form. Well, not explosive, but he is scoring goals again. So yeah, that's fine. So it's a question of Bamford, I guess, whether or not Bamford starts, because in this predicted lineup he doesn't have it, but Bamford is fit. Yeah, but then yeah, it depends on who. Yeah, I mean Bamford hasn't been scoring goals since he got back, so it's a case of how they shuffle it up. Bournemouth, no changes, so same old, and it should be an open game. This one, there could be quite a few goals in this one.
Yep. We
Hard
saw
to call.
we saw both Bournemouth actually scored 2 goals last week against Spurs. We can
Mm,
see the lineup. I think Keith Moore up after his 2 goals, he is predicted to start this game alongside with Solanke. So that's an interesting one. For Leeds United, as you mentioned, Luis Ostra is out after the World Cup break. He is sidelined. Somerville will take this advantage, or Benford could start up front and Rodrigo take the left line. So we say shit, we shall see. Yep. Next match, main Nottingham Forest versus Brentford, another crucial game for Forest. So what has been Cooper and also Thomas Frank been saying?
just one of the, I don't know, 20, one of those 20 plus signings that Forest did is that we don't even know the name of, has got another injury and he's out, so it's fine. But apparently he made 2 appearances so far as they rotate the squad. But on the Forest side, I don't expect them to rotate much, even if yeah, despite getting trashed by Arsenal 5-0, is it? Yeah. Yeah. So it's a case of um, very minimal changes, if any. And in this one has Aurier and Williams starting, so it'll be interesting to see.
Interesting
Uh,
if they say Nico can start this one.
yeah, yeah. For those who still have him, I suspect that people are waiting to offload after the World Cup because of the uncertainty. Okay, on the Brentford side, of course, the biggest change is the no Tony. So that's it. Tony is suspended for this one. So yeah, the predicted lineup has Wissa starting in front and Lewis Potter as the person who comes in, with Wissa moving from the left flank to the front and Lewis Potter comes in. Mbuemo takes his normal position. So this is a bit harder because Brentford obviously rely a lot on Ivan Toney, and Forest, we know that defensively can be quite sound when they need to be. So I would expect Forest to really hold. It's probably going to end up with a draw, 0-0 or 1-1.
So because we know Forest are strong at home, especially at their own ground. We can see
Yeah.
from a Liverpool match before this, and we can see how poor Brentford can be away at home. I think the latest thrashing is against Villa, and the prior to that is against Newcastle. So that possibility can happen for Brentford. So, but I expect, I think Forest we're going to play the next two fixture at home, man. So they really need this to take advantage, especially they are facing Brentford and Crystal Palace at home. I think these two teams that they can actually get some results. Okay, so next one, Wolves versus Brighton, man. Brighton on high flying right now after their recent win against Chelsea 4-1. While
Yeah.
Wolves got an important point against Brentford last week. So what the latest team
Yeah,
news?
so I was casting doubt on Brighton, and they ended up trashing Chelsea. That's such a fun homecoming for Graham Potter. So it's a tough one. The thing is, we Wolves still don't have a manager, so um, don't know why it's taking so long. So there's definitely issues there, and I don't think that's hurting the squad anymore. Although they did manage to secure draw, as you mentioned, but they really could have done with a win. So, in terms of changes, it really is um, Diego Costa being suspended. Yeah, but otherwise, it's the same old. But we're not going to look for players from Wolves, are we? Yeah, it's too much uncertainty. So, on the Brighton side, so we know that Welbeck didn't play because he was ill. It might have turned out to be a good thing considering how hard Welbeck needs. It's just how many chances Welbeck needs to score. He still hasn't scored this season, by the way. But yeah, so maybe he should stay, on the bench even if he's fit. Um, Everyone else is fine. So Veltman, who had the issue, so he'll be assessed, but apparently he's supposed to be good. So otherwise, it's the same team aside from Welbeck. Mitoma coming in, but Trossard, of course. This is so. I think a lot of people are starting to pick up Trossard after his heroics in the past two matches. But you just got to worry that it might be FPL time for Trossard.
Yeah. You can see that spirited lineup. Trossard is leading the line. So
Hmm.
that's in terms of position, he's playing out of position, which will be good news for the owner or whoever interested to bring him in. There's a lot of conversation, especially getting replacement for Zaha, who has been woeful. So the likes of Trossard, the likes of Rashford, Almiron, to an extent, Jared Bowen. So those are the names, but Trossard is really looking good against Wolves if he's starting up front.
Yeah.
Okay, so next match, man. Everton
Better.
versus Leicester. Okay, Everton have another two good feature coming up, especially against Leicester. But Leicester has really picked up some points recently. So what's the latest news?
Yeah. Well, Everton still on fine form, so it's a case of DCL. It's being assessed on the week to week. Again, I still wouldn't hold him. He did, but he's been doing decently. Leicester, who did lose against Manchester City last week, but it was a narrow 1-0. But I think it's more to do with City slowing down. So in terms of their lineup, yeah, okay, yeah, Pereira's definitely out of, as we know, but Evans could be back. So and he could replace. I guess he will replace Amate there in the lineup. Um, it's now an issue of who starts up front for Leicester, and given that Everton's defense is quite strong, it'll be interesting to see. But of course, I don't know anyone who's picked up Madison back again yet, or still waiting.
That's interesting one. If they say Madison are under radar right now, but they have fixture, I suppose, although they're playing away. But Madison can pop up out of nowhere,
Yeah.
okay, against any side. Just a quick one. We can see here Lampard did mention that Nathan Patterson is ready to start, but the Predator lineup doesn't show that Coleman is the starting lineup. What do you think, man?
It's a tough one, this one, because I mean, we know that Coleman is not exactly the fastest person on the block, but less can will he be able to go up against Barnes? I think so. So I think I think Patterson just needs to fight to get back into the lineup. I don't think he's going to start here either. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a tough one. But I don't know if there's any of you who still have Patterson in the lineup. But yeah, it's not looking good at the moment.
Okay. Let's go to the next match, which is the big one: Chelsea versus Arsenal. What has been Potter and Arteta been saying, me?
Wow. Okay, so Chilwell looks like he's out, and that's a big problem for me. Well, personally for me, I do feel he was underutilized. He should have played more. But that's out. But of course, the other thing is Kepa is now out, so Mendy is going to come in again. So will we have the same problem again after the World Cup? So let's see how we go, because it seems that Kepa should be fit enough to go travel for the World Cup, but um, it'll be well, something to look at after post World Cup. Other than that, everyone should be fine. James, of course, is still out, as we know. Um, then it's more a case of a challenge of what Potter is going to do. Now we know that Potter does shift around a bit, and this lineup, I'm not sure when you picked it, but the latest one, I just took a look at the FS Scout, has Aubameyang starting instead. But who knows? Yeah, with Loftus Cheek not starting, and he has Loftus Cheek starting instead of Aspilicueta. So yeah, it's going to be it's interesting to see what Potter does to recover from that trashing by Brighton. Arsenal, yeah. So Arsenal is, gosh, they're looking good, aren't they? So the question now is if Saka. So he did play as a sub in the EL, after being withdrawn. So it was interesting, because I actually really thought that, based on that, what I was seeing, that he's going to be out and he was going to be without for the World Cup. But then fortunately he came back, and which is good news, especially for those of you who bought him last week.
Yep.
Yeah, so you will be tempted to keep him, especially against a very um what do you call it, defensively suspect suddenly Chelsea. Yeah, now with changes at the back as well. Kepa coming in, and Mendy now comes back in for Kepa. So that I'm sure Arsenal is going to think they can take it. They can get there. And of course, those of you who have Odegaard, we've had fun last week. Compared to those who had Saka, who get frustrated when that sub in. But yeah, I don't see Nelson starting this one, even though he did well. But he will be a threat to minutes a lot more, given his performance.
All right. We shall see whether Chelsea can bounce back from their mauling last week. But we know Arsenal is a good side right now, and if they can feel almost the full starting lineup, even though maybe Tomiyasu might not be ready, but Tierney, if coming in, also is a good, definitely is a good personnel. So we shall see how this pan out. Okay. But it's a no-go for me for Chelsea, any Chelsea asset. Okay. But if you have Arsenal asset, I think you can continue. Okay. To just keep them in your side. Let's go to the next one. Aston Villa versus Manchester United. I did saw Unai Emery pre-match yesterday, but they are not talking about the team news. They are talking about Unai coming
Unai
into the
Emery.
club. Okay. And then
Yeah.
what has been Erin Ten Hag been saying, for both teams?
Right. So as you said, Hafiz, yeah, nothing you can do about Villa right now. So we saw they after a 4-0 win, they ended up getting trashed 4-0. So with Unai Emery coming in, it does that wait and see
Yep.
plan is still there, at least until after the World Cup. So we'll wait and see for that one. Probably best to avoid at the moment. So Eric Ten Hag issue is, there's quite a few who missed the midweek match. So Martial, of course, Sancho and Anthony. So the worry, of course, is Sancho. But the biggest news for me really is Fernandez being suspended. So he finally he hit the threshold. So he's not going to play. So who's going to work pull the strings in that attacking midfield? So Ericsson of course, immediately comes in as that candidate to do so. Then it's a case of who's up front. In this one has Rashford in it. Ronaldo's fit, isn't he? It's just but I think Rashford will start this one and not Ronaldo.
Yep, Rashford did not feature in midweek.
Yeah.
That's the appealing part. So the rest still make some minutes. We're not
I
sure.
get, no, yeah,
About,
it's a big question with Fernandez being out, you see, because how Ten Hag reshuffles it. There's also there's some predicted lineups there that have both Ronaldo and Rashford. I'm not sure if that will work, but
I think we need to be more respectful now against Villa. They are not a side before this uh, uh, pre Steven Gerrard is now with Unai Emery, and typically Emery will be better in terms of defensive. So I expect they can be strong at home against Manchester United. Against Bruno is not there. He's mostly has been the key man in terms of their midfield. I think Eriksen will take that role, and then Fred will partner with Casemiro like the Predator lineup.
yeah, I mean
Okay.
you could take a punt on Ericsson in this one if
Yeah,
anyone's interested. It might be something there.
I think 6.3. Okay. So next match, man, Southampton versus Newcastle. Okay, a lot of interest about the Newcastle team. I think we heard also some news about Wilson illness, but yeah, maybe you can say.
Right. Okay. So on Southampton side, same old, same old. Nothing. No real changes. Livermore, of course, still out. But other than that, that's how that's the lineup. No changes. On the Newcastle side, yeah. So a quick one on Wilson. It was on his podcast where he was saying he was a bit tired, something to do with some illness. But on the Eddie House um, press conference, yeah, he didn't think there were any injury
Yep.
concerns, and so nothing too bad. So you would think that Wilson would start, and because Wilson is someone that's being targeted for this week,
Yeah.
a lot of people are looking at it maybe possibly as a I don't know replacement for Mitrovic or some other strikers. So yeah.
Okay. Main on Southampton, how about the team?
Oh, Southampton, no, no, yeah, I think that's it. We're not really hunting at Southampton players, so
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
looks like Newcastle could really steamroll Southampton, can't they? I just
Okay.
want to put a punt for those who are interested in a punt, which is Bruno Guimaraes for this one. Might really haul.
Okay. Anyway, I did saw some stream yesterday, and there is an interesting stats about Southampton playing at home. They have not conceded more than 2 goals at their turf so far in the season. So that's another stat that maybe we can think. But Newcastle is a different team. They are a really good team. So I'm not sure about that. That stats worries you if you want to overload on a Newcastle asset?
It is, it is. Having said that, I think Newcastle is gonna hurt that Southampton home record. I just like
Do,
the look they're playing
um,
with so much confidence
do,
right
do,
now.
do you
Newcastle.
feel Jolinton is not in the side because he's suspended for this game? Mean would that
Oh, that's
affect?
right. I forgot. Yeah, Jolinton is really key to that free flowing as well. But I don't as long as if as long as they don't lose another one, which is I'm talking looking at you, Wilson, then I think Newcastle still can really get
Okay.
away with this. Yeah.
All right. Okay, fair. Let's go to West Ham versus Crystal Palace. West Ham been playing in Europa Conference League, but they have been fielding really young side. And so, what have been Patrick Vieira been saying about his team?
I think it's not just a quick observation that all all the Premier League teams playing in Europe all progress to the next round. Although the only thing is
Mm.
The only thing is Manchester United has to go have an
Yep. Yep.
extra matches to qualify, which is going to hurt the schedule. But we'll talk about that another time. So let's coming back to West Ham. Yeah, so we know that Fabianski had to be substituted off at some during last weekend's matches, but he looks like he may be all right. And more importantly, Bowen was rested. So Bowen, Cresswell, Skamaka, and Rice. You could argue Antonio's not one of the key players right now, but those key players were all given the night off, so they should be fresh. So it should be good. And they face Palace. So Palace, well, I've gone about how rubbish they can be in away. So I don't expect much. I don't know. Do you still have Zaha in your team?
Yep. And it's a decision I need to make this week.
Okay. Yeah. So other than that, yeah, I don't think there's anyone else. There's no one band either. So
All right.
yeah, same old.
Okay. Good. We go to the last match, man, which is for your team also. Spurs versus Liverpool. Dramatic qualifying for Spurs, especially, but Liverpool also wins against Napoli. So, what's the latest news for both teams?
Right. So Spurs, of course. Okay. Spurs now is the issue of Son. Now a lot of people have been speculating that if it's a face thing, maybe he can still play, but with a mask. But I don't know whether that will be ready. It'll be declared safe enough to play against this match. So I don't expect uh, him that to happen. So according to this update, he is set for surgery. So that speculation, I think we can throw that out the window at least for the next two Premier League matches. Um, Same problems. So Kulusevski was apparently back in training on Friday, yesterday, but I don't know. It might be a bit too quick for him to return, so I don't expect him to be back. But fortunately, Lucas Moura is back, so I expect him to take up that mantle there. But it's really stretching. Spurs are getting really stretched now, and it's not, it's not looking good for them. Although they did manage to win very well last week, albeit without Harry
I
Kane
think
giving me anything.
Romero is out. Is a big news. I think
Yeah,
he's one of the better player in this team, and Sanchez is definitely not
not of the
a good.
same level. Yep, you're right. You're right. And when you look at that, that's where because it makes an interesting position because you Liverpool have it's another match they have to win after they got unexpectedly trashed by not trashed but upset by Leeds. So on the Liverpool side, the same people who are still out are still out. The likes of Diaz is out. The likes of Jota is out. So Henderson should be back. So Milner is ruled out. So you expect to see TA and Robertson still be back
Yep.
there in the
Yep.
back line. So it's a question of will Nunes start? Um,
I think
he
so.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't start midweek, but again he came in and did well. So because an alternative to be playing Carvalho there and with Firmino up top and or even Salah up top. Yeah, so it's a. I don't think that many of us have Nunes. I'm one of them, so I need to decide. But I'm not likely to um,
Yep.
sell him off, given that Spurs are having, as you mentioned, are having
Yep.
defensive
Yep.
issues of their
They
own.
have issues. Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, it'll be interesting. Last match.
Yep. Yep. You can see there. There's a lot of potential injury or to the main players. That could be good news to some Spurs player like Perisic if he starts. He could play really up, high up. But for Liverpool, I think if you have TA, Salah, and so on, I think this could be an advantage. You just keep them. I think this is going to be an open and could be high scoring game.
Yep,
Okay,
good.
I think we cover all the team news. Let's go to the traffic for game week 15. I snapshot this yesterday night. Pretty much the numbers still there. and we can see the top transfer in. Who else? Mr. Wilson, despite his illness, so-called 971,000 managers has believed he's the right person to come in for the likes of Tony or maybe Mitrovic, depending on your team. Almiron is the next one. Three back-to-back double digit 690,000 managers has finally bring him in. Trossard is another one at 548,000, the troll man. But as you can see, Trossard has been performing for the last 2 weeks. KDB come in if you do not have three Man City asset. I think KDB is one of those asset that you can trust. 335,000 has bring him in, and then Diego Dalot pretty much because of his clean sheet and bonus point for Manchester United. For top transfer out, Tony, no surprise. From 25,000 ownership, I think he's down lesser than 20,000 right now, 20% right now. 1 million manager has apart from him, inclusive of myself. And then Foden, people are not annoying by Foden benching for the last 2 weeks. He is out 255,000 feels he's a concern. Zaha, the third most transfer out, 251,000 has been bring him out, especially Crystal Palace back-to-back away game after this. And Tony is another one. I'm not sure about his ownership. Quite high, 225,000 also. And then Son, still, there's a lot of managers have him. 181,000 has bring him out. So what do you think about this traffic, man?
Well, firstly, I'm quite surprised Anthony and Son are among the top transfers out, simply because I didn't know their ownership was high in the first place. So, but Son has been disappointing despite after that hat trick. He hasn't really done much anyway. So this is a good excuse for them to sell him off now. Yeah, no surprises for Tony. Foden being sold is something of interest. So we don't know how Pep is what's he up to, especially with his remarks about Foden. On the other side, yeah, Wilson, Almiron, yeah, I know Wilson is on the yellow, but I think he'll play. I don't think it's an issue there. Yeah, it's just when he talks into a podcast, he's just really feeling how he feels. It's not really a proper medical assessment. It's his own, feeling. Yeah. So I don't know, unless we see something late new, I don't think he'll start. So the crowd continues with Almiron, and yeah, no surprises. He is such in good form, and I think if I was him, I'd be annoyed that the World Cup is coming around, because he'd want to keep it up and and not have that having to stop.
He has the momentum. Yep, correct.
Yeah, he has that momentum, and he's just he's clearly he clearly thrives on confidence. This guy, so scoring goal after goal, he's just gonna keep scoring. So yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, KDB increasing. Where's the money coming from? I don't know. It's interesting, this one. But yeah, maybe some from Sun, but there's still more. So there might be a reshuffle of squads.
Okay. There could be potentially a Salah to KDB. If let's say you do not have the third City asset, if you don't have the likes of Foden or maybe Cancelo, and then you can just bring these people in. But KDB could be another good captain pick this week. If you're not sure about how many minutes, you have him.
I don't know. I mean, the captaincy, I think we got to talk about that one next, because the captaincy is a big problem, especially if we know that Haaland is out.
Okay, just quickly on bookings. Returning is Doucouré from Crystal Palace from suspension, but the ban list quite high this week. Ivan Toney, just a recap back, is banned this week. Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United also suspended. Joelinton, a key person in Newcastle lineup, he also suspended. Bobby Reed, Fulham, okay, not so much, but he's suspended. And team we did not touch. Diogo Costa got red carded last week. He is banned for 3 match. So, but we are not concerned about Costa being in our lineup, especially both are woeful right now. In terms of yellow card, some key players still there. Saliba, Jesus, if he can survive the yellow card against this week, so they will be playing in game week 60. If not, these people is the one that you need to replace. Mark Gear, 4 yellow cards. Another interesting name. Mitrovic on 4 yellow cards against City this week. So if he's receive another yellow card, he will miss next game week. So there's another concern. Dalo, 4 yellow cards. If if you're interested to bring him in. Else Kane, 4 yellow cards. Okay, so need to be careful on that. What you can sum up from these bookings, man?
I'm annoyed at myself at the fact that I've managed to somehow still manage to get two people on yellow cards. One is Kane and one is Saliba. So it'll be a bit, these are recent transfers. One at the one at the wild card,
Yep.
but no one was last week, which was Kane. So there's quite a few players there that on FPL teams. Jesus, of course, continues to hang in there, but also Mark Guell, has quite a bit of ownership. Maybe even Shah has some ownership there as well.
Yep.
But other than that, yeah. So the band players, yeah, those three are quite significant. Tony, Fernandez, Jolinton. Although to be fair, Fernandez and Jolinton probably aren't as much owned as Tony, but they are important to their team, so there is an impact to the FPL prospects of their teammates.
All right. So we shall now come to our team. My team go first, main.
Yeah.
What I have been doing, I definitely have made a transfer last night. Okay, I think the obvious one is already in my thinking for so long, but I need just to hear the latest news from Eddie Howe. It is confirmed that Wilson should be fit for this game. Wilson is in for the suspended Ivan Toney. So that's the weak link in my team. I already made that move. The rest still maintain the same. Guita in goal. And then I have Cancelo. I have Nico Williams there, man. I trust Steve Cooper will be more attacking or aggressive. Yeah, at their own ground. They need result, and against Brentford, who not really in good form, especially from away. I think I want to give a chance to Nico Williams. He has potential of attacking return. Trippier is another one. Everyone will have him right now. I have Salah against Spurs. Foden still there, but I'm gonna see really on the team news if we have some leaks about that. Zaha still there. That could be another potential transfer for me. And Martinelli definitely keep. Wilson, Mitrovic against City. Mitrovic can score against anybody, right? I feel so. I think he will stay, and Haaland should be starting. He'll be my captain for this week. So if you ask me, I have another free transfer to make. Is either Zaha out, or if Foden is clearly not starting, he might be out.
Yeah, no, the thing is he will probably travel. That's the problem with Foden. So it's a case of whether or not he starts, and I'm not sure we'll get that info. We of course we got that last week, but it's always a case of day to day whether we'll get it or not. So I suspect Foden will still travel though, so that then you'll have that question to decide. And if I were you, I would probably sell Zaha instead and just keep Foden. You have one free transfer, right? No more left. The only question I'm gonna ask is your keeper. So Guaita
Okay.
over what? Is that how do you decide that one? It's not easy given both are playing away.
Yep. After 9 points last week, I think I want to give Kuita another week. Although Crystal Palace are not really good, especially at away. I never really trust what. To be fair, Everton is this inside at home. I think the latest one 3-0 win against. I forgot the team. Everton can be ruthless, but yeah, West Ham was also another good team at their own turf. I think I'm going to trust Kuita this one.
All right, good luck.
So how about Nico Williams, man?
That's the tough one, but Well, you do have Guel to come in. If not, yeah. So
But I think Nico Williams, regardless, I think he will play. It's just whether he
you will
starts.
get minutes, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think you
So
resigned to do it. I don't think you have a choice. Yeah, I think.
I think I want to be brave. I feel Cooper need to win this. I think Nico Williams should start. That's what I feel.
Okay.
And then
I wish I could.
Zaha replacement, if that is the case, I think like we mentioned, Trossard, Rashford, Almiron. I can't afford Bowen, so he will not be in the conversation. But Said Benrahma could be. He's a bit cheaper. So what do you think, mate? Which transfer would you make? Yep, Trossard, Almiron, is the Rashford, but Rashford playing both a week game after this and against Villa, like we mentioned just now.
Have you considered Odegaard?
Can but against Chelsea this week, I don't think so. Maybe next week against Wolves. Maybe next week against Wolves. But my incline, I think this week. Why don't I don't overthink? Just get Almiron. He's on fire right now, and think about it next week.
Oh, suddenly you've got a triple up on Newcastle assets. I like it. I like that.
I think I can afford that. Some people have Pope, so they cannot triple up,
Yeah,
especially double up in
of
attack.
course, of course.
Yeah, so Almiron 20% own right now, ownership.
Yeah, it's still
Uh,
not as high as you would think, given his form. Isn't he the most informed player at the moment? I think he is.
could be, he could be, he could be.
Yeah, on the stats wise.
So, but the stats shared by I think Andy is it yesterday. Southampton does not concede more than 2 goals so far. So and Jolinton is not in the side. That could be another concern. I don't know. I don't know. But Almiron is right up there. Then Trossard, then Rashford. I think that's the ranking I'm doing right now.
Yeah, yeah. I just checked. Yeah, he is the current most informed player, Almira. Interesting.
All right. I think I will keep that team for now, and we go to your team.
All right. Okay. So for my team, I haven't made any transfers yet. So it's probably going to be just one transfer, not taking a hit. Pretty happy with the team. So I got a couple of dilemmas to decide, and the first one is of course Ramsdale versus Ward. So I'm tempted to go with Ramsdale just on the basis of Arsenal good form and Chelsea's poor form of last week. So yeah, what both away, so that's the problem. I think that's why I brought it up with you, with Leicester. But I think Everton are going to be strong at home. Then you have Saliba, Trippier, Van Dijk, no issues. Foden, KDB. So I've got the captaincy on KDB at the moment, but it is contingent on whether Haaland plays. If Haaland does travel, I'm gonna just go the safe route and sell Kane for Haaland and put the captaincy on Haaland.
Okay.
Then Almiron, Martinelli, Darwin, Mitrovic. I'm not worried about Darwin, so that he stays. The my only question now is who to bench. So whether I bench Mitrovic or bench Andreas, because Andreas can do it, but they are going to attack. Fulham says so, according to Silva. So, but it's unlikely both are going to return. It won't be that much.
Yep.
So yeah, it has Mitrovic. I've got fielded Mitrovic in my starting lineup right now, but that could easily change to Andreas. So we'll see.
Yep. I think this inside. I think you need to play the likes of Saliba and Van Dijk, even though they are playing away to big clubs. But I don't think you're gonna play Nico right over this Saliba and Van Dijk.
No.
Have the option. So yep.
So the other thing is that if Haaland is not fit, what do I do? So
I think if Haaland is not, say we got the starting lineup and Haaland is not starting, say he could be on the bench. He's not starting. I think you keep this team. Kane can be good against defensive suspect also for Liverpool, and then KDB is a decent captaincy for this week if we got that news. So that what I feel.
Okay, thanks. That would be very uncharacteristic of me if I manage to save a transfer. I got such itchy fingers towards the deadline, but yeah, thanks for the thought, and definitely something I'll keep in mind.
Yeah, you got to transfer for the last game week of the season, and if I can recall, the World Cup team announcement, at least for England, okay, will be on the November 10, which is before the
The last
final
one,
game week 16. So that could play some card in terms of playing
it could,
time, maybe.
right?
So that could be another tricky situation in game week 16. If you have to transfer, would definitely help. Okay, I think Rakan FPL is not in the stream. He's not posted any question. It came in.
Okay.
I think maybe we just talk about captaincy. Okay, I think Haaland, if let's say clearly um, in the lineup, he's there. I think you will start him and captain him. If he's not, I think KDB the next big option in terms of captaincy. Okay,
Yeah.
uh, that's what I feel. Okay,
I made
but
yeah, I made that mistake last week. I didn't captain KDB, and he had the returns last week, in the absence of Haaland. So yeah, it's gonna be something to think about.
And another thing, I think I saw some stream like FPL Wire and then Scout talking about if you do not have Haaland or Haaland not starting and if you have Salah, you could actually potentially captaining him. Although for my own personal thing, I think I still not confident in terms of Salah bringing points. I think Callum Wilson could be another good option captaincy for this week against Southampton. If he's fit, I think he will be fit. So that's where I'm thinking, man, in terms of captaincy. You want to
Okay.
add anything?
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard for us to captain the likes of Almiron, even though he's clearly the performer.
But that
But
could be a rogue one.
yeah, it's a rogue one. But again, because by captaining Wilson, you also, um, well, because previously you had the argument with Southampton not conceding more than 2 goals at home, so then that point output might not be so great. I don't know. Um, I'm for me, I'm still just leaving it on a Manchester City player. It is a case of between KDB and Foden.
Yeah.
If Haaland doesn't start, so it's but again, as you say, Foden is at a risk of seems to be at risk of not starting either. So the safe option is KDB for me. So and that's probably where it's going to be come deadline.
Okay, guys. Thank you for joining this stream. Okay, remember our game week 15, which is this week, will be at. Let me show it to you. At 21:90, 9:30 p.m. Malaysian time. Okay, so that will be, sorry, this is actually game week 15. And then if you are here, please hit the like button to support us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Min, your last word.
Um, Stay patient. I think we're gonna have another towards the deadline again, but don't wait too late.
Yep.
We saw what happened last week, and there's no guarantees that it won't happen again. But the nice thing, because the deadline is at 9:30,
Yep.
was it?
9:30. Yes, 9:30.
Yeah, 9:30 Malaysian time. So we would have had our dinner, so we've
Yep.
relaxed, so we can spend a bit of time. But again,
We
let's
hope
let's not
not another rushing.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully the buses arrive at respective stadiums on time, so we can see who's on.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching, and we see you next week on the last game week before the World Cup week.
All the
Thank
best.
you. Take care. Bye bye. All the best.
Bye.